Parasite, Gu, breeding longevity path, starting from the love-enamored Gu. Author, Thousand Lakes True Person. Genre, Adventure, Martial Arts, Cultivation Fantasy. Chapter 271, Acquiring the Nascent Soul. Spirit Object. At the same time, cultivating such a spiritual medicine is quite difficult, with exceedingly stringent growing conditions. That's why the 1000-year moonflower grass is extremely rare and precious. Lin Yazue sighed. It was why she felt incredibly fortunate this time, actually finding a nascent soul spiritual object in the storage bag of a golden core cultivator. It was like a pie falling from the sky. But this is only passing the first hurdle. The next two may not be so easy to overcome. Zhou Sui reminded her. That's already quite good, increasing the likelihood of nascent soul formation by 10%. Who knows how many golden core cultivators want to desperately seize it, but all of them fail to get it. Most golden core cultivators can't even pass the first hurdle, not to mention hope for the second or third. Of course, if there's a spiritual medicine that can help pass the second heart devil tribulation, it can also be referred to as a nascent soul spiritual object. But such a nascent soul spiritual object is even more rare and precious. As for the third heavenly tribulation, I have the superior treasure gold thunder bamboo, which can significantly eliminate the thunder tribulation's power. If we can successfully cross the first two hurdles, then the third hurdle will surely be passed. Lin Yazue's eyes flashed with an exhilarating glow. She felt that after waiting for so long, she finally saw a glimmer of hope. Heart devil tribulation. Upon hearing this, Zhou Sui narrowed his eyes, a sharp light in his gaze, realizing he may be able to help Lin Yazue pass this hurdle. His cultivation of summoning demon heart scripture seemed to have a great restraining effect on the heart demon. If he could apply this cultivation technique, he might be able to devour the heart demon. At the same time, he could utilize the power of the dream soul Gu to help digest the heart demon. If successful, Lin Yazue's nascent soul formation success rate could increase above 80%. However, he didn't mention it for the time being. After all, his cultivation was weak at the moment, only at the late stage of foundation establishment. Such cultivation could not be very useful in summoning the demon heart scripture. Regardless, if he advanced into the golden core realm, everything would be different. Therefore, his main goal now was to enhance his cultivation and advance to the golden core realm as soon as possible. However, it wasn't something that could be achieved overnight. Luckily, he and Lin Yazue had a very long lifespan, no rush for the moment. At this moment, on Yu family's island, the patriarch of the Yu family, Yu Ming, was as pale as ashes, looking at the four shattered life talisman in the ancestral hall of his family. This indicated that the four gold core masters of the Yu family were all dead. He had been in the ancestral hall for an entire night, aging overnight, not daring to leave. Because he understood the terrifying consequences if this matter were leaked. Then, the Yu family might not be able to hold on to Yu family's island. Even the Yu family's enemies might seize the opportunity to attack the Yu family. In a short time, the Yu family might be wiped out, completely extinct. Then he would be the criminal of the Yu family. How did this happen? Didn't they say this operation was foolproof? Why did the elder patriarchs all die this time? What exactly happened? Could it be that the immortal mist city is some kind of a dangerous den? Patriarch Yu Ming's face paled. Now he regretted it so much that his intestines were turning green. If he had known that immortal mist city held such immense and unfathomable power, he would not have dared to provoke them no matter what. But it was all too late now. There was no way to make up for the previous mistakes. People like elder patriarch Yu Feng couldn't be revived. Just as he was thinking, the communication talisman on his body suddenly rang. His face changed, he immediately knew who it was likely to be, the contact person of the Sky Demon sect. He had long since joined the Sky Demon sect. Most of the core personnel of the Yu family were members of the Sky Demon sect. They had been part of the Wuji Alliance for hundreds of years and were essentially spies for the Sky Demon sect, passing on Wuji Alliance's information to the Sky Demon sect. Relying on the resources obtained from these two large forces, the Yu family developed extraordinarily quickly. Sir. Patriarch Yu Ming hesitated no further, immediately activated the communication talisman. A seductive voice from the other end of the talisman echoed, a voice that was enchanting. Tell me, what exactly happened? Why did 4 golden core cultivators from your Yu family die? What exactly did you do? The one speaking was a female golden core cultivator of the Sky Demon sect. Chapter 272. Marrying the sect master of King Mu sect, all are Dao companions. But at this moment, Yu Ming was so scared that he knelt on the ground, his heart devoid of any ripples. He was drenched in sweat, his face ashen, for he knew if his answer did not satisfy the other party, his death was almost certain. No one could save him. After all, the person he was dealing with was a true disciple of the Sky Demon sect, also a disciple of the sect master, a cultivator who had achieved golden core completion, and was the infamous Chu Dai, the witch who had made a name for herself in the Kanglan Sea region. Even over the communication device, she still had the ability to make him wish he were dead. Reporting to the master. This was all due to our poor decisions. Recently, a powerful competitor called Immortal Mist City emerged on Yu Family's island. Therefore, we decided to team up with other Golden Core Masters, disguised as robbers, to kill the Golden Core cultivators of Immortal Mist City. But we had never expected, that after the Supreme Elder Yu Feng and others arrived at Immortal Mist City last night, they vanished without a trace. Even their life plagues shattered. Yu Ming truthfully narrated his actions, stating that this decision, which had led several Golden Core cultivators to their deaths, was purely their own decision. He did not dare to hide anything. Because the last thing she tolerated was lies. If he was honest, there was a possibility that he might have a chance at survival. Immortal Mist City? What's their background? Chu Dai asked. Not sure, we only know that they are Golden Core forces from a remote sea area. It seemed that they had faced a disaster, forcing them to abandon their island homes and join the Wuji Alliance. We didn't expect these foreign factions, comprised of just 3 Golden Core Masters, to be able to make our Supreme Elders vanish without a trace, and they even didn't have a chance to escape. Yu Ming said with a bitter smile. Please visit Sitestories. C0M maybe Y0 U will ENJ0Y the captivating SH0RTST0RIES. Though he had heard tales of hidden talents within the Kanglan Sea region, he had never seen any. Wasn't it true that any capable cultivator gained fame in their youth, making a name for themselves across the Kanglan Sea region? But now, reality had delivered him a sharp slap in the face. The obscure Immortal Mist City alone had caused the Yu family to take a great tumble, resulting in the death of 4 Golden Core cultivators. This huge loss had crushed the Yu family's chances of gaining domination over the sea region. Even maintaining the prosperity of Yu family's island would be an extremely challenging task now. Immortal Mist City? It seems like another mysterious force is lurking. What are they trying to accomplish by hiding in the Wuji Alliance? Do they hail from other nascent soul sects or are they indeed from a remote sea region? Upon hearing this, Chu Dai started to take an interest in Immortal Mist City. A glint was visible in her beautiful eyes. Master, what should we do now? Yu Ming couldn't help but ask. He was panicking. If the enemy were to attack Yu family's island, given the current strength of the Yu family, they were doomed for sure. If possible, he hoped that the Sky Demon sect would intervene and help him deal with this trouble. Shut up, this is the trouble you brought upon yourselves with your reckless actions, and now you want the Sky Demon sect to help you clean up the mess. It seems you've forgotten your place. Chu Dai snorted. Buzz. Suddenly, an unseen force sounded through the communication talisman, affecting Yu Ming and triggering the restriction on him. Ah! Yu Ming immediately let out a gruesome scream. He felt intense pain engulfing his entire body as if he were being bitten by numerous ants. The pain was beyond description. Fortunately, this place was shielded by a sound barrier, otherwise, the other members of the Yu family would have heard his screams. I'm sorry, Master, I was wrong. Please spare my life. I am a Golden Core Master, and also the head of the Yu family. I am still useful to the Sky Demon sect. I'm still useful. Yu Ming kept begging for mercy. He knew that a simple thought from the other party could end his life due to the restriction placed on him. From the very beginning, his life was not his own to control. Humph, if it weren't for the fact that you are somewhat useful. Today would be your last day. Chu Dai said indifferently, but temporarily relieved the force of the restriction. Thank you, Master, thank you, Master. Yu Ming curled up on the ground, drenched in sweat and tears of gratitude. He felt as if he had just escaped death. For now, you should not provoke Immortal Mist City. We have listed Immortal Mist City as a key observation target and intend to investigate this sect thoroughly. Once we get the clear picture, we will make our plans. It's not too late. At present, the Sky Demon sect has more important matters to handle and cannot afford to stir up trouble here. Chu Dai said in a grave voice. Although she was very interested in Immortal Mist City and wanted to know what kind of power the Golden Core Masters behind this city wielded, she also knew that they were not easily dealt with. Unless the nascent soul ancestor was dispatched. The problem was, that area was Wuji Alliance's territory. If the nascent soul ancestor were dispatched, it might easily lead to a war between the two great sects, causing more loss than gain. More importantly, to make the nascent soul ancestor take action, a justifiable reason, as well as enough benefits, were needed. Dealing with Immortal Mist City for what benefit? Was it for the sake of revenge for a bunch of spies? Don't be ridiculous. Cultivators in the demonic sect were known for their indifference. They frequently killed each other, let alone taking revenge for their sect brothers. So, until she had a clear understanding of Immortal Mist City, she would not make any rash moves. Yes, Master. Yu Ming nodded repeatedly. Without the support of the Sky Demon sect, all he could do was remain in hiding. In the Sky Demon sect's headquarters, atop a mountain. Chapter 273. Marrying the sect master of King Mu sect, all are Dao companions. This place seemed to be surrounded by endless demonic qi, enveloped by clouds and fog all day long, making it impossible to clearly see the situation inside. At this moment, a dazzlingly beautiful woman was standing in the palace. She was wearing a black chiffon long dress, revealing her proud figure and long legs. Her jade feet lightly stepped on the ground, like a fairy in the night. Her eyes were watery, seemingly filled with a faint coldness, dismissive of everything. Her delicate fingers and creamy skin were as white as snow, lustrous and translucent like they could wring out water. One could say that she was a natural beauty, capable of causing the fall of nations, filled with charm and grace. Any man would go crazy for her, and wish to fall under her pomegranate skirt. She was Chu Dai, a true disciple of the Sky Demon sect. Although she was only 200 years old, she had already advanced her cultivation to Golden Core completion and was touted as the next sect master of the Sky Demon sect. Sister Chu. At this moment, female cultivators immediately appeared in front of Chu Dai, all treating her with utmost reverence. After all, they had great fear for such a capricious witch. You all go investigate the Immortal Mist City of Wuji Alliance. Bring back all the information about this power. But remember not to act rashly. Just gathering information is enough. Chu Dai sat in the throne of the palace, her slender legs crossed, and lazily commanded. Yes, Sister Chu. Hearing this, the numerous female cultivators of the Sky Demon sect nodded, and without another word, immediately left the palace. They didn't ask why. As long as Sister Chu issued an order, they would follow it. There was no need to ask for reasons. Next is to form the nascent soul. But to pass the 3 tests of the nascent soul is really difficult. In the immense palace, only Chu Dai was left. She had no interest in the tasks she had just delegated. It was something she did casually. What she was more concerned about now was forming her own nascent soul. Despite being a heavenly spirit root cultivator, and hailed as the most excellent genius of the Sky Demon sect in a millennium, she still didn't have much confidence in forming the nascent soul. Indeed, she could pass the first test, but passing the Heart Devil Tribulation and the Heaven Thunder Tribulation was not that easy. Especially for cultivators of the demon path, this was akin to an insurmountable gap. So she had been hesitant to break through. According to Master, to form my nascent soul, I need to go out and find an opportunity. But where is the opportunity for my nascent soul? Chu Dai fell into deep thought. At this time, on the Immortal Mist Peak of the Immortal Mist sect in Water Star Island. Husband, did you say you are going to marry Sister Lin? Lang Yuexi's beautiful eyes widened, looking at Zhou Sui in surprise. She didn't expect her husband would actually marry Lin Yazhu. It was really unimaginable. Yes. Zhou Sui nodded. This was the conclusion he came to after a long period of thought. Since they were all his Dao companions, there was no need for secrecy. Why not be upright and be together? This was not something shameful. Damn it, I knew that old woman had ulterior motives. She always looked at my husband with narrowed eyes. She couldn't get married at over 300 years, already an old maid, and she still aimed at my husband. Did that old woman force herself onto you, husband? Shen Baiqian gritted her teeth. She believed it must have been Lin Yazhu, who coveted her handsome husband and used her power as a golden core cultivator, to perform despicable and shameless deeds. That was how that shameless woman got him. After all, for an old maid in her 300-year-old age, her thirst for a man could be imagined. What do you mean by forcing oneself onto someone? Zhou and I are in mutual affection. I think you were the one who forced yourself onto him, an old cow eating young grass. At this moment, Lin Yazhu appeared in front of everyone in a flash. Then she looked at Shen Baiqian with contempt, as if seeing through this woman's character. What? Seeing the old woman dared to appear before her, Shen Baiqian was so angry that she almost lost her breath. She was so angry that her teeth itched. But thinking back to the past, she felt a little guilty. After all, at the beginning, she did take advantage of people's danger, repaying kindness with ingratitude, which was how she got her husband. Otherwise, who knew when she would be able to consummate her relationship with her husband? A woman should take the initiative. Otherwise, a good man would have been taken away by other women early on, and it wouldn't be her turn. All right, no more quarreling. You all will be sisters in the future, why quarrel? Zhou Sui hugged both Lin Yazhu and Shen Baiqian. Humph, I will give husband a face and not quarrel with this old woman. Shen Baiqian snorted coldly but didn't continue to be angry. And Lin Yazhu was a woman who knew the big picture. Naturally, she would not continue to pour oil on the fire. Husband, when will the wedding be held? Do we need to invite everyone in the same path? Ji Binjiu asked. She thought this was a good thing. After all, her husband was marrying the sect masters of the three major sects, which was equivalent to actually unifying the three major sects. This would definitely hugely benefit the future development of Immortal Mist City. At least, the three major sects wouldn't have conflicts and divisions over small matters. No need for so much trouble. Just inviting the brothers of the same sect is enough. No need to invite others. It's just a simple ceremony. Zhou Sui didn't want to make such a big fuss. He just wanted to give Lin Yazhu a legal status. There was no need to prove anything to outsiders. Being too high profile might invite unnecessary trouble. Chapter 274. Marrying the sect master of King Mu sect, all are Dao companions. Part 3. Okay. Ji Binjiu and the others all nodded their heads. In no time, the news of Zhou Sui's plan to marry Lin Yazhu, the sect master of King Mu sect, spread through the three major sects King Mu sect, Danding faction and Immortal Mist sect, like a hurricane. To the cultivators of these three major sects, it was the news no one could miss. What? That pretty boy is going to marry our sect master of King Mu sect. Upon the release of this news, many King Mu sect elders and disciples were instantly thrown into uproar. This was quite the explosive news, leaving them bewildered and indecisive. Damn it, I knew that the pretty boy was up to no good. He previously built a third-stage magic circle for our King Mu sect free of charge. At first, I thought he was truly being kind, but it turns out that our King Mu sect has already paid the price. Even our sect master is being taken away by this pretty boy. A foundation establishment elder from King Mu sect gritted his teeth with anger and frustration. I told you before, anything free tends to be costliest, but you didn't believe it. This young man probably had gotten close with our sect master when he was building the magic circle. If it weren't for that opportunity, he wouldn't have won her over. Another elder from King Mu sect felt helpless. It's really hard to guard against a thief in one's family. Who would have thought that in a short period of building the magic circle, this pretty boy managed to switch on his charm with the sect master, leaving them without a leg to stand on in any arguments. It's horrifying, how did he manage to do it? Our sect master has been single for over 300 years, and must have encountered countless promising young men and handsome gentlemen. Her heart is like iron, yet she was still won over by him. I just can't figure out what means he used. Some people found it bewildering, seeing the matter as a tall tale. They had no idea what their sect master saw in this man. Perhaps it's because she's been single for over 300 years, and so she wasn't able to withstand his advances. A few sweet nothings from this pretty boy, and she'd likely fall. The sect master of Immortal Mist sect and the leader of Danding faction were both won over the same way, let alone the sect master of King Mu sect. Gotta say, this young man really lives up to Heavenly Jade Daist's reputation. His ability to charm women is prodigious, a real natural. People are just incomparable. The foundation establishment elders finally yielded. In some sense, this young man was indeed a prodigy. Simply with a charming look, sweet words and some unique methods, he had made numerous beautiful women love him to death. Actually, this might not be a bad thing. With the sect masters of the three sects all married to this man, doesn't it mean the three major sects will become more united? This place is the territory of the Wuji Alliance, not our past home of Immortal Mist Island. In this territory, being a Golden Core Master isn't enough to protect a power. We need forces with at least 3 to 5 Golden Core Masters so as not to be looked down upon by other forces. Now that the sect masters of the three sects are all married to this man, we'll essentially be a big family. There's nothing that could possibly break apart the three major sections. At this moment, an elder from the King Mu sect expressed his thoughts with a solemn tone. He felt that this might not necessarily be a bad thing but rather something that might unite the three major sects even more. Only in this manner, can they survive in this turbulent territory without being annexed by other forces. That's surely the case. The many Foundation establishment elders had no choice but to accept the situation. Given the circumstances, they had no other option. This was, after all, the decision of a Golden Core Master, with no room for opposition. Not accepting it wouldn't make any difference. Were they really going to leave their sect and this place? Therefore, one way or another, they had no choice but to accept this established fact. Chapter 275. Perfect Foundation Establishment, Mana Solidification Part 1. Several days later. Clearly, the wedding of Zhou Sui and Lin Yazue was conducted successfully. Almost all the guests were jovial, and there was no cultivator who dared to cause trouble at the wedding. After all, who would dare to cause a scene at the wedding feast of a Golden Core Master, unless you have a death wish? Even if they were extremely jealous of Zhou Sui, they would not dare to say so openly, they could only grumble in secret. From then on, the sect masters of the three major sects had all become Zhou Sui's counterparts. And Zhou Sui had factually become the authority of the three major sects, literally the emperor. Of course, for Zhou Sui, there was nothing to be scared about. The storms of the outside world couldn't affect him. His most important goal now was to advance his cultivation and ascend to the Golden Core realm. Besides his cultivation, everything else was illusionary and not worth mentioning. 5 years later. In a quiet room. Zhou Sui sat cross-legged on the ground, eerily operating the Insect God Sutra. With his body as the center, the massive force of nature's spiritual energy came tumbling, forming a huge spirit energy vortex. At the same time, the goo insects on his body were also ingesting and discharging the nature's spiritual energy, forming smaller spirit energy vortexes. This spiritual energy entered his body through the spiritual root, and then transformed into droplets of mana liquid. Bang! After operating the Insect God Sutra for 108 cycles, Zhou Sui opened his eyes, aware that the mana within his body had reached its peak. His Danshan Qi was flowing with a massive amount of mana liquid, much like a mini lake. Foundation establishment is complete. Finally advanced to the peak of foundation establishment. The Insect God Sutra, it's the limit with 1000 droplets of mana, foundation establishment has reached the peak, could not progress further. Zhou Sui smiled slightly, after cultivating bitterly for 5 years, constantly ingesting and exhaling spiritual energy, combined with dual cultivating with his Dao partners, he had finally enhanced his internal mana to the extreme, reaching the state of perfect foundation establishment. He sensed 1000 droplets of mana liquid in his body. It was basically at the limit of what his Danshan Qi could accommodate, and it was impossible to enhance it further. The next step was the core formation. I'm 50 years old now. Only 50 years old, and already cultivated to the peak of foundation establishment. Even the cultivators with heavenly spirit root progress at about the same speed. Zhou Sui was in a very cheerful mood. He sensed that each drop of mana liquid in his Danshan Qi seemed to be continually solidifying, much like the state of a liquid solidifying into ice. According to the experience of core formation from King Mu sect, the Immortal Mist sect, and Danding faction, this was greatly beneficial and an auspicial sign for core formation. This is the advantage of self-cultivation. Mana within the body is much purer compared to those cultivators who use the foundation pill to ascend, without any impurities. Other foundation establishment cultivators have to consume spiritual objects to get rid of impurities in their bodies to cause mana to solidify. But I'm different. I do not need to consume any spiritual objects. Because the mana within my body is too pure, it naturally starts to solidify. And up to now, the mana solidification has reached 10% and this process is still continuing. When the mana has fully solidified, reaching the maximum limit, that's when it's time to start core formation. Zhou Sui clenched his fist, he felt his core formation was imminent. Of course, this state of mana solidification is not easy to accelerate. Unless you consume core formation spiritual objects, you can accelerate this process. However, Zhou Sui was in no rush and wouldn't consume core formation spiritual objects. He wanted his mana to solidify naturally and spontaneously. Go with the flow. After all, this way his foundation for core formation would be more perfect, and he could condense a more robust golden core. Anyway, he was not in a hurry and had enough time to wait for the mana in the Danshan Qi Si to completely solidify. He was now just 50 years old. For a foundation establishment cultivator, this was indeed very young. With this in mind, Zhou Sui opened his virtual panel. Host, Zhou Sui. Cultivation, late foundation establishment, progress, 99%, Lifespan, 3,200 years. Aptitude, 5th grade spiritual root, 30%, Swordsmanship, 3rd order, lower grade, 50%, Rune, 2nd stage middle grade, 70%, 7th order formation, 3rd class, high grade, 99%, Pill master, 3rd order lower grade, 60%, Phantasma transformation skill, grade achievement, 25%, 5 elements alchemy technique, grandmaster, 25%, 7 apertures spirit secret, heart eye recognition, heart eye insight, heart eye linguistics, 75%, Fireball technique, grandmaster, 99%, wind blade art, proficient, golden light skill, proficient, ice frost skill, proficient, spring wind rain skill, proficient, lightning summoning skill, proficient. Obsession goo, 3rd order upper class, clone goo, 2nd order upper class, wine bug, 2nd order upper class, gold eating bug, 2nd order upper class, bookworm, 2nd order upper class, dream soul goo, 3rd order lower class, dragon elephant goo, 2nd order upper class, golden light thousand poison goo, 2nd order upper class, teleportation insect, 2nd order upper class, array heart goo, 3rd order upper class, object searching goo, 2nd order upper class. Not bad. Looking at the data on his virtual panel, Zhou Sui was very satisfied. Although his other cultivation skills didn't progress much during the last 5 years, since he primarily spent his time advancing his cultivation, that's why he progressed to the peak of foundation establishment this quickly. But, there was some progress. After all, over the long run, even small steps can result in significant progress in the long run. Chapter 276. Perfect Foundation Establishment, Mana Solidification. Part 2. Click. At this time, Zhou Sui opened the door, left the quiet chamber, stretched, and breathed the fresh air outside. Husband, have you finished your retreat? Wait, have you reached the perfection stage of foundation establishment? At this moment, Lang Yuexi happened to pass by the quiet chamber. She sensed the aura leaking from Zhou Sui and was overjoyed, her beautiful eyes radiated light, feeling extremely excited. Of course, the reason she was able to sense Zhou Sui's aura was that he had not used the phantasma transformation skill. Otherwise, Lang Yuexi would not be able to detect it at all. That's right. Zhou Sui smiled slightly and admitted directly. That's wonderful. You truly are a unique genius. You're just 50 years old, and you've already reached the perfection of foundation establishment. Back in the day, I only reached this realm when I was 80. I can't believe you are about to start core formation. Lang Yuexi was overjoyed and felt unspeakably happy. If Zhou Sui successfully formed his core, Immortal Mist City would gain one more golden core, greatly enhancing the city's strength, which would be tremendously beneficial in all aspects. I still have a long way to go, I'm just getting started. I'm still a long way from core formation. After all, core formation requires passing through 3 stages. I must act prudently. Zhou Sui waved his hand, saying humbly. Although his chances of core formation were over 90%, nothing was certain until success was achieved. He would definitely not be careless, to prevent any setbacks. I don't care. With your talents, you're sure to succeed in core formation. Lang Yuexi didn't care about that. She believed that her husband was like a god who had descended to the mortal world and that core formation would be a piece of cake for him. She clung to Zhou Sui's arm, almost wishing to melt her body into his. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Zhou Sui was rather helpless, but he had no intention of stopping Lang Yuexi. Husband, why don't we take a stroll in Immortal Mist City? It seems you haven't left the mountain in a long time. Lang Yuexi suggested with yearning eyes at Zhou Sui. She wanted to stroll around the streets like a mortal couple. All right. Seeing Lang Yuexi's longing expression, Zhou Sui had absolutely no intention to refuse. Truth to be told, he had indeed been on Immortal Mist Peak for a long time, barely ever venturing down. A trip to Immortal Mist City was not a big deal. After all, it was the territory of the Immortal Mist sect. Nothing unexpected would happen. It was very safe. Whoosh! In no time, Zhou Sui and Lang Yuexi had arrived near a huge city close to the main base of the Immortal Mist sect, a coastal city at the edge of Water Star Island. Of course, the two had used the phantasma transformation skill, disguising their appearance as ordinary people. If Zhou Sui and Lang Yuexi appeared as themselves in Immortal Mist City, it would certainly cause quite the commotion amongst disciples of the sect and many would swarm towards them. This would contradict their initial intention. Has Immortal Mist City grown so large? Upon entering Immortal Mist City, Zhou Sui looked around and found that compared to 5 years ago, Immortal Mist City seemed to have expanded more than tenfold, with bustling streets in all directions. Buildings sprouted everywhere. There were a lot of cultivators on the streets, very busy, extremely prosperous and lively. Some were carrying swords, others were hanging gourds, some were even riding giant beasts. The kinds of cultivators were as varied as could be. This scene reminded him of the old Misty Cloud City. However, the cultivators in Immortal Mist City were much stronger than those in Misty Cloud City back in the day. There were numerous cultivators in the late stages of Qi cultivation, and foundation establishment cultivators could be seen now and then. This seemed to be a true city of cultivators. Of course. 5 years ago, Yu and Sister Lin wiped out the 10 Golden Core Masters who attacked from the Yu family. After that incident, basically no faction in the nearby waters could compete with us. Those Gold Core families, after losing their Golden Core Masters, are all hunkered down in their islands. They dare not venture out, fearing retaliation from us. Because of this, Immortal Mist City has undergone tremendous development in these 5 years. The population has reached as many as 500,000 and continues to grow. A large number of cultivators also brought a lot of business opportunities, and various cultivation resources. You can say, Immortal Mist City has become the largest trading city in this area. Lang Yuexi said proudly. After all, she witnessed the rise of Immortal Mist City from zero to a city with a population of 500,000. This was already a staggering development. Because these are 500,000 cultivators, not mortals. The two are worlds apart. It can be said that Immortal Mist City has become the biggest source of wealth for the 3 major sects. Each year, they could get constant resources and spirit stones from the city. What's more, the wealth earned now by the Immortal Mist sect is even more than what they had on Immortal Mist Island in the past. Because the resources of this sea area are extremely abundant. Not only do they have a variety of demon beast materials, demon cores, they also have cultivated a large number of spiritual medicines and spiritual materials, etc. Chapter 277. Perfect Foundation Establishment, Mana Solidification. Part 3. Spiritual medicines that are unattainable on Immortal Mist Island can now be seen everywhere in the sea area. Due to this, the strength of the Immortal Mist sect has significantly increased over this period, giving rise to many Foundation Establishment elders. Where are the others? Where have they gone? Zhou Sui inquired about the whereabouts of his other companions. Sister Shen remains on Fire Star Island. Currently, she is obsessed with alchemy. She hasn't left the alchemy room for several days. As for Sister Lin, she's still in closed-door cultivation, seemingly perfecting her golden core cultivation power to prepare for nascent soul formation. Sister Ji is currently residing in the Immortal Mist sect. As the Peak Master of Sword Peak, she likely guides disciples in swordsmanship. Given her present state of second-order comprehension, she has more than enough capability to mentor disciples. Sister Xia is still engrossed in the study of 7th-order formation knowledge on Array Peak. Recently, she had profound insights about formations, helping the Immortal Mist sect build many second-order formations in the process. Lastly, Sister Mu is the most formidable talisman master of our Immortal Mist sect. She recently opened a talisman shop in Immortal Mist City, primarily selling talismans refined by our sect. Her talismans are highly praised and are likely for sale in Immortal Mist City. Lang Yuexi briefly described the current conditions of their sisters. Good. Listening to these words, Zhou Sui felt satisfied. This represented the tranquil daily life of cultivators, unlike his previous experiences in Misty Cloud City, where one had to tread carefully due to fears of being eradicated by other cultivators unexpectedly. He spent every day in fear, living a life that wasn't fit for any human. Of course, there probably wasn't much difference between the present Immortal Mist City and Misty Cloud City. The reason for this transformation was purely due to his increased strength. His cultivation wasn't just limited to reaching the foundation establishment, his body was comparable to body cultivators at the Golden Core stage. Even when encountering cultivators in the early stages of Golden Core, he could best them in battle. As a result, factors that could threaten him have significantly decreased, and he no longer needs to live in constant fear like before. This is the underlying drive for his continuous cultivation improvements. Not only about the extension of life, more importantly, he wanted to live peacefully and comfortably. Next, Zhou Sui and Lang Yuexi went shopping in Immortal Mist City. They bought some street food. They tried on some new clothes and shoes. They also checked out the market stalls set by loose cultivators, looking for potential bargains. They spent the entire afternoon browsing the city. Zhou Sui hasn't had the chance to enjoy shopping in a long time, just like in his former life. He felt a sense of calm washing over his soul. Hey! In the evening, as the sun was about to set, Zhou Sui planned to return to Immortal Mist Peak. However, suddenly, he felt a stroke of unease, and his eyes flashed a hint of a cold glint. What's the matter, my lord? Lang Yuexi immediately noticed her lord's reaction and asked. It's bad. Purple Yan is in danger. A golden core cultivator is trying to abduct her. Zhou Sui clenched his fist, his face was serious. He sensed that his clone residing within Muzei had taken action, blocking the sudden attack, thereby saving Muzei. What? On hearing this, Lang Yuexi was equally shocked. This was Immortal Mist City after all, which golden core cultivator would dare to cause trouble, especially in broad daylight. Whoosh! However, without saying anything more, Zhou Sui invoked the teleportation insect and instantly appeared by Muzei's side. A little earlier in time, a young man wearing extravagant clothes, looking pale, appeared in Immortal Mist City. Two golden core early stage guards flanked him, their bodies emanating a formidable aura. His name was Sheng Guansu, a cultivator in the early stages of Golden Core. If it was just that, it could be ignored, but his father, Sheng Guanqing, was a nascent soul ancestor of Wuji Alliance. With the backing of his father's reputation, he was practically unchallenged in this sea area. Wherever he went, he was treated as a guest of honor. This man was greedy and corrupt, a typical debauchee. His bad reputation had long ago spread throughout Wuji Alliance. However, due to his personal cultivation and his father being a nascent soul ancestor, most could do nothing but endure his deceit. Tisk tisk, this place is Immortal Mist City. In just 10 years of development, it has reached this scale. It seems the cultivators here know how to amass wealth. Sheng Guansu's eyes revealed a greedy look. Seeing the bustling shops and the constant flow of cultivators, in his eyes, this city was a fat sheep. Prior to arriving in Immortal Mist City, he had investigated all the information about this place. Immortal Mist City is controlled by 3 external Golden Core sects that had joined the Wuji Alliance just 10 years ago. In short, they don't have any backing of any nascent soul ancestor. Hence, forces rich yet without any powerful backing like this were his favorite targets of extortion. Even with one successful attempt, he does not have to worry about the resources required for his cultivation for the next several decades. Even if he fails, he doesn't care. After all, with his father's position as a nascent soul ancestor, nobody dares to harm him. This is why he had been unscrupulous in Wuji Alliance for more than 300 years. Despite his numerous atrocities, he managed to survive and thrive. Chapter 278. Perfect Foundation Establishment, Monosolidification. Part 4. Young Master, it's said that Immortal Mist City is controlled by 3 female Golden Core cultivators. They are top-notch in their manners, looks and figures, and are known as the 3 beauties of Immortal Mist City. Their fame spreads far and wide. If you can take these 3 Golden Core cultivators as concubines, the city will probably fall into your hands easily. A guard obsequiously stated. He was an early stage of Golden Core cultivator named Zhang Wen, subordinated to the nascent soul ancestor Sheng Guanqing, assigned to guard Sheng Guansu's side. But I heard they already have Taoist companions. Another Golden Core guard said. His name was Li Hu, and he was also an early stage of Golden Core cultivator. Taoist companions? Isn't that better? What I love most are female cultivators who have Taoist companions. I wouldn't like her if she didn't have one. Shang Guansu's eyes suddenly brightened, feeling quite thrilled. He inherited his father's, the nascent soul ancestor Shang Guanqing's character, which was a lecherous one. He had snatched over 100 female cultivators. The male cultivators whose partners were snatched dared not say a word in anger. After all, with the backing of the nascent soul ancestor, who would dare to complain? Young master, we probably need to plan for this long term. After all, they are female Golden Core cultivators whose power is not to be underestimated. Guard Li Hu advised. He didn't care about the ideas of the Golden Core women, he was just afraid of his young master getting hurt. After all, if the female cultivators of Golden Core were truly enraged and fought to death, the young master might also get killed. Although some people would treat the nascent soul ancestor with caution, others wouldn't care. Anything could happen in this vast sea. Don't worry, this kind of thing is just like alchemy, it needs to be prepared in advance. Without absolute certainty, how could I act rashly? Shang Guansu smiled slightly. Although he was a spoiled young master, it didn't mean he was a fool. If the other party was really not easy to provoke, he wouldn't rashly rush forward and waste his own life. Young master, look at that talisman shop. It seems the lady boss inside is also a great beauty. Just then, guard Zhang Wen called out excitedly, looking at a huge talisman shop in the distance. Inside the shop was none other than a beautiful woman, Mu Zhi, patrolling around. She was dressed in a purple long dress that highlighted her exquisite figure, her skin was fair as snow, and she was stunningly beautiful. Especially after a long period of cultivation, her face had a hint of enchanting allure, looking just like a ripe peach. Her face was incredibly pure, and her large watery eyes seemed to speak. This woman who embodied both innocence and enchantment was simply a top-tier woman in the world. It wasn't just guard Zhang Wen, all the men around almost couldn't take their eyes off her. She's top-tier, truly top-tier. I, Shang Guansu, have had many women, but this one could be the first. I must have her, I must. Zhang Wen, go for it, snatch the woman for me. I want to see her in my bed tonight. Shang Guansu's eyes suddenly heated up, it seemed as if fire could spew out. He couldn't wait to snatch this woman now. He hadn't been this excited in a long time. Although he didn't know the origins of this woman, he didn't care. After all, none could surpass his father, the nascent soul ancestor. Over the years, as long as he wanted a woman, even if she was on the street, he simply snatched her away. If anyone dared to stop him, he would kill them on the spot. Yes, young master. Hearing this, guard Zhang Wen, flashed and covered the talisman shop with a terrifying golden core law domain. Every cultivator inside the shop couldn't move. One by one, they were horrified, as if they had encountered a primordial beast and didn't know what had happened. At this moment, it seemed as if the nature's spiritual energy in this area had stopped flowing. But this was a golden core cultivator. To other cultivators, he was like a god, impossible to resist. What? Mu Zhi also sensed this power. She was stunned, she was just doing her rounds in the shop checking on the talisman's sales. But who could have foreseen that she would encounter such a disaster, that a golden core cultivator would make a move on her? It was an unwarranted disaster. But at this moment, she also calmed down. Even if the enemy was a golden core master, she still had the trump card that her husband left for her. Immediately, a clone of Zhou Sui sensed that Mu Zhi was in danger, it immediately appeared, transforming into an unfamiliar golden core cultivator. Seeking death. Clone Zhou Sui looked coldly at the attacking guard Zhang Wen, as if looking at a dead person. A dragon-like aura radiated from him, he directly threw a punch. Chapter 279. The demon calling Heart Sutra appears in the world, being weak is a sin. Not good. Zhang Wen, the bodyguard, broke out in a cold sweat. He had never imagined that the owner of this talisman shop had a golden core bodyguard, and he had not detected their presence beforehand. He was slightly negligent when he made his move, as the opponent was merely a woman at the foundation establishment stage. In any case, she was not a match for him. But who could have thought that this woman had a golden core cultivator to protect her? This was completely unexpected. What was this woman's background that she even had the protection of a nascent soul ancestor? At this moment, he regretted his actions. Rash actions indeed brought disasters, and he felt like a knife was hanging over his head. Hindsight, he should have investigated the stunning cultivator's background before making a move. Unfortunately, it was too late now. Bang! At this moment, Zhou Sui's clone struck without hesitation. The force of hundreds of thousands of pounds came down like a punch from a true dragon and solidly hit the bodyguard Zhang Wen. A terrifying destructive force permeated through Zhang's defensive robes, directly striking his internal organs. Ah! Immediately, a miserable scream rang out from Zhang Wen. His body was thrown like a cannonball, skidding against the ground, and finally stopping hundreds of meters away. A shocking fissure was carved directly into the ground. The road, initially made of marble, was now cracked extensively. The surrounding cultivators were startled and scattered in different directions. Finally, he landed heavily on a solid wall a few hundred meters away and then came to a stop. Even so, taking that punch caused him serious injuries, fresh blood flowed from all over his body, and countless bones were broken. He lay on the ground, barely conscious. Damn you! You dare attack my man! Do you know who I am? I'm Shang Guansu. Believe it or not, I can command your extermination. Witnessing this, Shang Guansu was both shocked and outraged. He had never experienced anything like this. Initially, he was in high spirits, intending to abduct a woman. But who could have thought that he'd bump into a hard barrier this time and cause his bodyguard Zhang Wen to be seriously injured? If he were not treated urgently, he might completely fade away. Before Shang Guansu could say anything more, the real Zhou Sui had teleported to his side. Raising his hand, he slapped Shang Guan harshly across the face. Bang! Shang Guan had not even had the chance to react when he suffered a fatal blow. Fortunately, he had numerous treasures protecting him. At this point, sensing imminent danger, his high-tier defensive treasure, Tortoise Shell, instantly activated its defensive barrier. An invisible energy shield enveloped him, with a myriad of tortoise shell patterns appearing on it. It contained formidable defensive power that could resist even the full force attack of a golden core. Even so, he was thrown like a top and crash-landed, creating a vast crater on the ground hundreds of meters away. Rocks were sent flying and dust rolled up into the air. Although the attack did not cause fatal damage, he was in an extremely embarrassing situation, lying helplessly on the ground like a turtle. Young master! Seeing this, the bodyguard Li Hu was both shocked and angered. Seeing Shang Guansu in such a state, he blamed himself for failing in his duty as a bodyguard. He feared he might be severely punished by the nascent soul ancestor. Boom! Without saying another word, Li withdrew a low-grade magical treasure, the Crimson Tiger Claw, from his body. This claw, refined from the claw of a golden core tiger demon, was invincible and frightening, containing destructive metal power. It was especially effective against armors. If one were hit by it, their body would be torn apart. Even a lower-ranked defensive treasure could hardly resist it. With this low-grade magical treasure, he was virtually invincible. While not invincible, very few could withstand his claw. The next second, the Crimson Tiger Claw struck. It formed a terrifying claw in mid-air, just like a real golden core tiger demon. It flashed with a strong lethal aura, enveloping several miles around. The surrounding cultivators started trembling with fear and continued to retreat. They did not dare to approach. After all, this was a battle between golden core cultivators. Whoever ventured near, either by accident or design, would be killed by the shockwave and be torn apart. Whoosh! Despite Zhou's body being almost as strong as a golden core body cultivator and carrying dragon elephant bloodline within him, he would not brazenly collide with the enemy. Using his teleportation insect, he instantly moved behind Li Hu. What? Li was shocked. He never expected the mysterious cultivator's speed to be this insane. It was so fast that it rivaled a nascent soul ancestor's teleportation. At this moment, it was too late for him to change his attack. Bang! The claw struck the air, and a building in the distance exploded instantly. It was as if an all-powerful demon descended from the sky and crushed the building, which was over a dozen floors tall, with one claw. Thankfully, the surrounding cultivators had already fled. Otherwise, this one strike would have killed dozens of them. The terrifying chi swept across the earth creating a breathtaking trench. Rocks were flying, and dust was rolling everywhere. Kill! Zhou's expression remained unchanged. A flying sword appeared in his hand, and his vast mana infused the flying sword. True Dragon Sword Technique's fourth move Dragon Rises. At this moment, a surge of True Dragon Sword intent burst out. Behind him, an image of a true dragon seemed to materialize. It was as if an ancient true dragon had descended into the mortal world. Chapter 280. The Demon Calling Heart Sutra appears in the world, being weak is a sin. Part 2. Whoosh. As the sword thrust forward, its luminescence flashed like lightning too swift for even divine sense to grasp. The next moment it slammed into Li Hu, one of the guards. How is this possible? Who the hell is this guy? How can he be this powerful? Li Hu's eyes bulged, his pupils revealing a horrified look. To his dismay, he found his low-tier defensive armor treated as if it was made of paper. Pierced through effortlessly by this sharply intense sword chi. A gaping bloody hole appeared in his abdomen, blood gushed out like a free-flowing source. With a thud, his body fell to the ground, losing almost all of his fighting ability. However, due to the robust vitality of Golden Core Cultivator, he was not dead. Yet. Husband, you are so powerful. At this moment, Lang Yuexi finally arrived. She had witnessed her husband, Zhou Sui, severely injuring an early-stage Golden Core Cultivator with a mere flick of his wrist. Though her husband has spent years cultivating in the mountains, preferring to avoid any risks or battles. The world believed that her husband was not fond of fighting and primarily identified as an array master and alchemist. Unbeknownst to others, his battle talent was exceedingly high. As a cultivator at the peak of Foundation establishment, he easily crushed the Golden Core Cultivator. This accomplishment alone would be enough to etch his name in the history of the Cultivation World. Such combat prowess was overly exaggerated and beyond imagination. Die. At this moment, Shang Guansu finally realized his predicament. Seeing his two Golden Core bodyguards rendered half-dead, it dawned upon him that he had tangled with a tough adversary. His face twisted ferociously as he withdrew his second high-grade artifact, the Shadowless Needle, from his possession. It was crafted from the essence of 5 metals. Leaving no trace nor shadows in its wake, it was capable of causing invisible harm to individuals. Moreover, it specifically penetrated all types of defensive artifacts, killing ferociously. Using this high-grade artifact, he had claimed countless lives. Even a mid-stage Golden Core Cultivator would potentially get killed instantly upon contact with the Shadowless Needle if they were caught off guard. Whoosh! In an instant, Shang Guansu directed the Shadowless Needle towards Zhou Sui, launching his attack. A silvery chill in the mid-air silently merged into the void, its speed phenomenally fast. In the blink of an eye, it reached Zhou Sui's side. It seemed as though it would hit Zhou Sui directly, but Zhou Sui had sensed Shang Guansu's movements long before. He could fully anticipate what Shang Guansu was planning to do next, thanks to his extraordinary power of heart eyes, which were even more formidable than divine sense, allowing him to keep an eye on his surroundings. Shang Guansu's stealthy moves could not deceive him. Swoosh! Zhou Sui activated the teleportation insect. In a flash, he dodged Shang Guansu's attack. Boom! The Shadowless Needle immediately hit a distant building. The towering building was instantly blown up by the impact, with countless traces of transparent energy bursting forth, turning the building into a beehive formation. In just an instant, the whole building turned into ruins. Now one can imagine the power of the high-grade artifact, the Shadowless Needle. If it were to strike a mountain, it could easily crumble instantly. Among the high-grade artifacts, its lethality was considered one of the best. Impossible! How could you dodge my Shadowless Needle? Shang Guansu was stunned for a moment. He was always invincible when he used this artifact before. Oftentimes, his enemies died instantly from his invisible needle, without offering any resistance. But now, his current opponent seemed to anticipate his next move, and effortlessly dodged his attack. He quickly realized that the enemy in front of him was beyond comparison to the cultivators he had encountered before. However, Zhou Sui had no intention of responding to anything Shang Guansu said. Holding his flying sword, he again manifested the True Dragon Sword art, aiming a direct hit towards Shang Guansu. True Dragon Sword Intent. At this moment, this sword several times more terrifying than before merged both sword chi and sword intent, forming a horrifying sword radiance. Indomitable, it was even more terrifying than the Shadowless Needle. As if a true dragon was roaring. Thud. With just one sword strike, the high-grade defensive artifact, Xian Turtle Cover, Shang Guansu had originally equipped was instantly broken into pieces. The entire energy shield shattered, and after receiving a powerful impact, he was cruelly slammed onto the ground. He instantly made a deep pit. With a spurt, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Suffering from an unprecedented power, all of his internal organs were seriously injured. At this moment, Shang Guansu finally understood what fear was. A chill rose from the solace of his feet to the crown of his head with the man standing before him intending to kill him. The problem was, he was the son of nascent soul ancestor, a golden core early stage cultivator. He had a lifetime of potential ahead, possibility of becoming a nascent soul ancestor or even a nascent soul elder. There was still a lot of wealth and glory yet to enjoy. How could he just die here? No, don't kill me. I am Shang Guansu, the son of the nascent soul ancestor Shang Guanqing of the Wuji Alliance. If you kill me, my father, even the Wuji Alliance will certainly seek to hunt you down. Even if you escape to the ends of the earth, you will meet a dead end. Do you understand? Shang Guansu threatened, trembling with fear, using his nascent soul ancestor father's status as his last resort. So what if it's the nascent soul ancestor? The Kanglan Sea area is so vast, there are plenty of places to hide. The nascent soul ancestor can't find us no matter what.